Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong, and happy Thanksgiving. For everyone in the kitchen today, good luck in there. I hope your oven real estate is plentiful, and remember to clean as you go. Really, it makes a world of difference. Anyway, while you're doing any last-minute prep work, here's a fun one to listen to today to get you in the cooking mood. It's a conversation between NPR's Leila, Fadel, and Nite Yun, a Cambodian-American chef who is out with her debut cookbook, My Cambodia, a Khmer Cookbook. There's cooking talk in this conversation, some discussion about fish paste and galangal, but what this book really is after is connection. See, Yun was born in a refugee camp. Her parents fled some brutal conditions to get to America, but these weren't stories she was told growing up. Instead, cooking Khmer food was the best way Yun found to reach her folks. That's after the break.
This message comes from Schwab. Everyone has moments when they could have done better, like cutting their own hair or forgetting sunscreen, so now you look like a tomato. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab. Get market insights, education, and human help when you need it. Learn more at schwab.com.
This message comes from Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Nite Yun is a celebrated American chef known for bringing the flavors of her parents' ancestral home, Cambodia, to the United States through her restaurants. The one she has now is Lunette in San Francisco. She grew up in Stockton, California, and her parents never talked about their life in Cambodia and what they escaped, a genocide.
I learned about my parents' past by traveling. When I went to Cambodia, my goal was to meet my relatives, and I learned that over food, they would open up about my parents' past. I learned that my mom was a beauty queen in her village, and my dad fixed motorcycles for the Japanese.
Her late father never found a way to truly open up to her, but her mother did.
Traveling to Cambodia and learning how to cook food was how my mom opened up about herself. Cooking Cambodian food has been a way of storytelling.
Now Yun is sharing those stories and her recipes with the world in her debut cookbook called My Cambodia, a Khmer Cookbook. And I know we typically say Khmer, but Yun says it's actually pronounced Khmer.
My Cambodia is my story, my parents' story of resilience and strength. And I also wanted people to not forget the good times in Cambodia when my parents were growing up, when there was Cambodian rock and roll music playing, when art was thriving. And I want to just put that in a time capsule and celebrate it.
And that's what she does in her cookbook. She recommends rock and roll playlists to dance to as you cook. And before we get to the stories she shares in the book, we've got to start with the food. On the day we chat, Yun walks me through one of her favorite weeknight recipes, a chicken stir-fry.
This is so exciting for me. You don't even know.
Yun is in San Francisco. I'm in D.C., so we connect by Zoom, and I perch my laptop on the kitchen counter so she can walk me through the dish.
So cha krung, I get very excited about this dish. It's just very, because I grew up eating it, it's something that I still crave.
We start with the most important part of this cooking process, making something called krung.
Krung is one of the foundation in Khmer cuisine. Krung translates to ingredients. You pound thinly sliced lemongrass, there's turmeric, lime leaves, shallots, and galanga, and you turn that into this beautiful paste.
I mash everything with a mortar and pestle, which is an arm workout because there's so much smashing. I feel like I have a new right bicep, basically.
Yes. What I recommended in the book, too, was to have a krung making party, invite all your friends to help make a big batch. And then the krung is also very versatile. You can use krung to marinate, to make soups and stews and curry. It's the base for a lot of our traditional Cambodian dishes.
At Yun's instruction, I begin to saute my krung in a pan along with sugar and an ingredient you may need to find in a specialty Asian grocery store.
Hok, which is the star in Cambodian cooking. It's our fermented fish paste.
It's smelling so good.
Yeah.
It's not ginger that we use, it's galangal.
Yes, it's galanga. Galanga is not as spicy as ginger. It has a much more nutty, earthy taste.
So I can smell that. I can smell the lemongrass.
Lemongrass.
The garlic. Okay. All kind
nice.
of mingling together. Next, I add sliced chicken thighs and a mixture of fish sauce before turning down the heat. I chop up some red onions and chilies. I get nervous when, a real chef watches me cook.
This is fun. Seeing you go around the kitchen, grabbing, the onions.
It's amazing. And I'm excited because it's so delicious, but it's also something that can feel intimidating. Mm-hmm. And then, looking through your cookbook and going and shopping for the ingredients, everything feels more accessible now. Oh, I can do this.
I cannot wait for you to try it.
I stir in my onions and just a pinch of the chilies because I'm a heat wimp. Then I top it with basil and get ready to serve by scooping the jasmine rice I prepared earlier into a bowl.
Sometimes when I would miss home, I would just cook a pot of rice and have that. Sometimes I wouldn't even eat it, but just to fill my room with the aroma of steamed rice, it was just very comforting to me.
And my kitchen has that aroma, along with the garlic and lemongrass and the stir fry, which is done.
Yay, you did it!
And it has such a depth of flavor that is so different.
The depth of flavor you're talking about is basically from the krung and the prahok together, which makes Khmer food so good.
Now, Yun didn't grow up cooking Cambodian food, as she mentioned, but the recipes in this cookbook include the flavors of her childhood, from the recipe for a bright cabbage salad to
Katio Phnom Penh, which is the pork noodle soup. When my mom would make a big pot of soup, we knew she was going to make it ahead of time because she would start prepping the fried garlic and she pull out the biggest pot. So it was a very joyful time.
And her book is full of both the joy and the trauma of her parents' history. Your parents are genocide survivors. You were born in a refugee camp. You came here when you were 2.
Yeah. So my parents fought for their lives when they fled Cambodia around 1978. My parents dodged landmines, survived starvation to forced labor camp, walked under the hot sun to safety. So my brother and I could have a better life in America. I didn't learn this as a child at all, but I knew something, there was this mystery that, they hid from my brothers and I. But I've always looked up to my mom. I just knew her strength and her determination came from somewhere.
Khmer cooking, Cambodian cooking, sharing it with the world in this cookbook, in your restaurants, why was it so important?
I wanted to share my story. It's something that not a lot of people talk about or know about. And I think that's why Cambodian cuisine is so in the shadow of Thai and Vietnamese food, because we were in the Civil War and everything was lost during that time. So people who held on or had who knew how to cook Cambodian food, they just kind of perish. And people who do know Cambodian food now, they hold it in their memories. I just wanted to share the beautiful side of Cambodia. So this book is a way for me to kind of compile all the recipes that I learned from my travel and from my mom to honor their stories and to make the food accessible.
And as Nite Yun writes, if you want to connect with your parents, grandparents, friends, anyone really, I hope this book will help you create the space for conversations, both loving and difficult. Her debut cookbook is called My Cambodia.
Hey, Andrew here, the host of NPR's Book of the Day podcast. And yeah, I love new books, but there's just something about rereading an old favorite. On our new limited series, Books We've Loved, we're revisiting some classics, from Pride and Prejudice to Dune to everything in between, and talking about why they're worth reading today. Listen to NPR's Books We've Loved right on this podcast feed every Saturday on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Vital Farms, who works with small American farms to bring you pasture-raised eggs. Farmer Tanner Pace shares why he believes it's important to care for his land and how he hopes to pass the opportunity to farm onto his sons.
We're paving the way for a future. We only have one earth, and we have to make it count. Like my boys, I want to see them taking care of the land for them to be able to farm and then generations to come. I really enjoy seeing, especially my whole family up there working with me, and to be able to instill the things that my father, mother, and then grandparents instilled in me that I can instill in the boys. That's just the most rewarding thing that there could ever be. Vital Farms, they're motivated for the well-being of the animals, for the well-being of the land, the whole grand scope of things. They care about it all, and that means a lot to me.
To learn more about how Vital Farms farmers care for their hens, visit vitalfarms.com.